Happy Friday, guys. All right. Let me just quickly put this on the WhatsApp group. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Richard Barakat, founder of Barakat.com. We are a trusted US Nigeria trade platform. We are the hub for business, trade, and investments, both for Nigerian diasporas in the US or abroad, as well as Nigerians back home looking to enter the United States market and expand their business beyond the borders of Nigeria. Today's topic, it's a very, very interesting topic. It's a unique topic that I've always wanted to talk about. So what I'm going to do today is spend some quality time with you. I'm not going to rush today's session or today's live session because I really want us to have a heart-to-heart conversation about the topic of rebuilding trust in business, and also how today's entrepreneurs are helping to shape and change the narrative of trust in business. I'm going to take you guys through a little bit of history. Okay. So I need you guys to work with me and bear with me. I'm going to take you on a little bit of history, and we're going to talk about, and this is just from my personal experience of the way that I saw Nigeria when I was growing up in the 80s. I was born in 78. So I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria in the 80s, and I saw a little bit of a shift back then. I'm going to do some comparison between my view of Nigeria in the 80s and 90s and today. So just to mention again for those who are tuning in for the first time, today's topic is rebuilding trust in Nigerian business and how entrepreneurs today are helping to shape the narrative. Um, I was born in 1978. My dad immigrated to the US in the late 70s. Okay. And part of his set, their objective back then was to come into the United States, get their college education, and then return back home to apply the skill set that they learned abroad. 23 people tuning in. Please like this video, guys. Like this video and also share. Make sure you comment if you want to. For anyone who wants to come on board and offer their expertise or their point of view, let me know and I'll send you the invite. So, uh, I remember growing up in the 80s in Lawrence and Surulere, Lagos, Nigeria. If you're from Surulere, Ikate, that area, post your thoughts in the comments. So, in the early 80s, as a child, I remember my Nigeria, like my point of view of Nigeria being there was this unity. We lived in a compound back then. We didn't have much. So I lived with my grandfather who worked in the railroads. He worked in I believe it's like Lagos Railroad or something back then. And he also had a side also. He had a side business selling ogogoro and snuff, the stuff that you put in your nose. He had a side business doing that, and he maintained the day job as well. So I remember growing up in the 80s. I started knowing left from right from wrong when I was I'll probably say about 4 or 5 years old. So I remember growing up in the 80s, and my mom at that time worked for Crusader Insurance in VI, Broad Street. And my uncle, my mom's brother, would take me to my mom's office. Okay. Back then, he's talking about 82, 83. So I was exposed early on in my childhood to commerce. I was exposed to people, you know, in entrepreneurs. I was exposed to the working class because everybody in that compound that we lived in at that time, at least their parents, they got up, they went to work. And us kids, we got up, we went to school. We did our homework after school. We go to lesson. I don't know if they still have that thing in Nigeria now, where it's an extracurricular activity. So my sister and I would walk, we would go to to lesson and learn math, improve on our English, social studies, and all that stuff. So Nigeria at that time in the 80s was easy, easy. I remember because my dad would come regularly from the US to Nigeria to visit us. So dollar at the time was like 80 kobo, 50, I think 50 to 80 kobo per dollar at that time. Nigeria was good, at least in my eyes. Okay, at least in my eyes. I saw my grandfather wake up every day, go to work. I saw my mom wake up every day, go to work. I saw the parents, my friends, everybody, the parents up there woke up every day and then they went to work to earn a living. And then something happened in the 90s. I also observed a shift of behaviors in the 90s. Okay. The 90s became more, it was literally the opposite of what I experienced in the 80s. That was when you started hearing about 419, you started hearing about fraud, and you started hearing about distrust. And you started seeing like within that 20-year window from the early 90s to so you have that decade, 1990 to 2000, and then you have 2000 to 2010. Nigeria was just embroiled in all sorts of controversy. Nigeria and the prince scams and the oh someone died and left me 1 billion naira or $1 billion. I'm looking for someone to help me get that. All of that started becoming more prevalent in the 90s, which started adding to this issue of distrust and Nigeria being labeled. And then in fact, you also had like the credit card situation where there was a lot of swiping and credit card fraud going on. So Nigeria back was tied or at least synonymous with lack of trust, unreliability, dishonesty, rip-offs. And as a result, it impacted the way that people do business with Nigeria. It impacted the way that people saw Nigeria as a result of that situation. So in the US, you were taught early on, because I came when I was 11, 6 weeks to my 12th birthday. So here you will learn the United States history. And then whichever state that you live in, because I came in through Texas, they also taught us like Texas history, where you learn about the history, how Texas was formed. Texas, used to be a country of its own before the United States annexed it. You learn all these things. I don't know if they still teach the youths or the students in Nigeria, Nigerian history or not, but the point that I'm trying to make is the reason why the US is the way it is today, why it's a functional society is today, is because the generations before the previous generations built upon the generation that was before them. They built upon that. So back to Nigeria, in the 80s, the decisions that our great grandfathers or our grandfathers made in the 60s and the 70s, those in the 80s built upon those generations. So that is why you saw 60s was okay, even though I wasn't born there, but I knew people where my grandfather had set up his own clinic back in the 60s. He had electricity, he had telephone lines. I'm talking about in the village. So the 60s were okay, then the 70s built upon what the 60s left them. Then the 80s built upon what the 70s had left. And then once we entered the 1990s, you started seeing this influx and this this increase in just overall dishonesty, the get rich quick. I went from seeing people around me wake up every day to go to work to seeing people around me wake up and they are still tying wrapper. They are not even, they don't have a job. Because at that time in the 90s, 419 was really, really huge. It was really, really prevalent. Unfortunately, I was able to sort of see how these guys operated back then. And I'm talking about 1993, 1994, because I would travel back home and then our neighbors went from becoming working class Nigerian citizens to becoming fraudsters. So I wasn't a part of it, but at least I experienced the way that they worked. I really experienced the way that they worked because back then I would travel home, the elders, they would send you, oh, go and buy this, go and buy that. So being in that world, I saw the level of dishonesty and the way that, and it was just literally all around you because that was the thing to do. People no longer wanted to hold a job. They didn't want to hold a job. They didn't want to do honest business. Um, they just wanted the easy payday. And that was, and part of that led to this issue that we're having, that we at least had with trust. But then you fast forward today, you see that things are changing. Things are changing. The way the world sees Nigeria today isn't how they saw us, let me say, 10, 15 years ago. Nigeria is starting to build clout again. We're starting to build respect again on the world stage. Um, Prior to going full time, I worked 18 months on the road. I was a project manager for Walmart, and I traveled all over rural America doing store transformations for Walmart. So in these rural parts, just my experiences and my travels within rural America exposed me to what really powers the economy of the United States. So you see like the Manhattans and you see the Los Angeleses, you see Miami, you see Chicago, you see all these big cities. But what really underpins those big cities are rural America, which most people don't talk about. But that is really what powers the economy of the US. So the stock market can crash and recover. But the agricultural sector is one of the most incentivized sectors because the United States government cannot allow the agricultural sector in the US to crash. But the point I'm getting at is Nigeria has come a long way because in my travels, when I'm going to these rural small towns and I'm talking to people, more than likely, most likely, I'm probably one of a handful of Black people that they've seen in, let's say, months. So you tend to stick out like a sore thumb wherever you go. Whether you are going to the grocery store, or going to the bar, or whatever, you tend to stick out like a sore thumb. So in my travels and in my conversations in rural America with these people, the moment you start talking to them and engage, and just naturally, I'm a social guy. I can talk to literally anybody, from CEOs all the way down to a janitor. That's just my personality. So as you start talking to people, getting to learn about them, getting to learn about their community and all of that, then they'll pick out the accent. Oh, I detect an accent there. I detect an accent. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Nigeria. I'm originally from Nigeria. And the first thing you hear from them is, I know, I know Whiskey. I know Burna Boy. I listen to the video. I mean, you're talking about rural America, population 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people population. And they have heard of artists like the Wizkids of Nigeria. They've heard of artists like Davido. They've heard of artists like Burna Boy. I don't know personally. Personally, I don't know their music. I think out of all the people that I mentioned, Wizkid is the only one that I would say I know his music, and it's the one that he did with the Justin Bieber and I think her name is Thames. That is the only music I know as far as Wizkid is concerned. If you were to play 5 tracks of Burna Boy's music for me, I'm a Nigerian guy. I can't tell because I don't really follow his music. From what I learned, he's transcending industries, he's winning Grammys here and there. Same with Davido. I mean, these guys are really popular, but I just don't know their music. But the point is, people in rural America, they know Nigeria through artists like Wiz, Davido, Burna Boy. So you can see the positivity that's there because because of that positive experience, they're able to go in and do what? Explore more. And then they'll start telling you, I want to go to, I would love to go to Nigeria one day, just based on the music that I've heard. 2 weeks ago, I was at my local liquor shop here where I buy my bourbon. And I got to talking to one of the sales reps there. And she's planning on going to Zimbabwe. She's also heard of Nigeria, and I was just championing it. When once you get to Zimbabwe, look into at least giving Nigeria a shot. Oh yeah, I would definitely love to go to Nigeria to and explore what Nigeria is like. So the conversation about Nigeria is changing from, let's say, a decade ago to 2 decades ago. But that doesn't mean that we still don't have a stigma to overcome. And that is the point of this, is that rebuilding trust in business. I have never ever seen a successful business that wasn't underpinned by trust, quality, and reliability. You need those 3 things because there are a lot of customers, Nigerians in the diaspora, that are still gun shy. They are still gun shy about pulling the trigger and investing in Nigeria or buying from Nigerians. The stigma is still there. But the point that I'm making is the narrative is starting to change. Whether it's the musicians, the Davidos and the Wizkids and the Burna Boys of the world putting Nigeria on the global map on a positive level, or you, the local entrepreneur back then, running your operation and running your business. So if you have ever delivered on your promise to a customer, you are part of the solution. Thank you. If you have ever provided premium customer service to your customers, I'm not talking about just customers abroad. I'm talking about even local customers in Nigeria, the interaction that you have with them, and you give them that positive business experience. You are part of the solution. You are part of the new wave of people who are helping to shape the direction and the way that people perceive the country. And you don't have to be a major company, you don't have to be a big business. You can literally be selling akara on the roadside, but provide customer service, the best possible customer service to your customers and to your clients. If you do that, you are helping to change the narrative. As far as the new wave of entrepreneurs, you are helping to change the narrative because the news travels. Whether you are providing good service or poor service, you can only be on either side of the coin. There's no middle ground, there's no gray area. So which side are you going to be on? Because if you think about it, Customer service in Niger, hello, Riza RC. Customer service in Niger still has a long way to go. Nigeria is slowly, and I don't know what's causing this. I don't know if it's the new administration or it could just be this generation is just fed up. Because I remember colleagues of mine. I went to college in the early 20s. I graduated in 2004. They would literally change their native name, not legally, but they would change their native name into a nickname. Someone that's easy will start calling himself Jason because they just didn't want to be associated with Nigeria. But now things have changed. I am a proud, I literally can't wait to tell people that I'm from Nigeria because the narrative is changing. Those in the 90s and the 2000s that did not build upon the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, you can imagine if they would have done the opposite and built upon that instead of looking for a shortcut. Look at how many Nigerian artists are on the global stage in the US winning Grammys or they are nominated for a Grammy. Now is the time for you to wave that Nigerian flag. I am a proud, I can tell you right now. Yes, I'm a naturalized US citizen, but I'm a proud Nigerian entrepreneur. I'm always promoting Nigeria. I'm always pushing Nigeria. Back then in the 80s, before they scattered Nigeria in the 90s and the 2000s, go to VI, Broad Street was clean. You saw foreigners then. Now you're starting to see foreigners again. And none of this didn't happen by happenstance. Oh. None of this happened by happenstance. The new Nigeria today that we are experiencing today did not happen by happenstance. People made it happen. Because you're going to get to a point where enough is enough. When you are tired of losing, you are tired of not making money, you are tired of not being able to tell people that you're from Nigeria, you are tired of people scrutinizing you. Because thinking, the moment I tell people that I'm from Nigeria, that customer is already gone because they're going to link me to negativity. Whatever it is that's happening right now, that is change. I don't know. I can't put a finger on it. I'm thinking maybe it's entertainment. Whatever it is right now is working. Because when you have people in rural America, they know about Nigeria more than me. We come from Nigeria. You know that that's something positive. Hello, Kefa, how are you? Wear that Nigerian flag, brand. The US is, you see, the United States of America is a brand. Yes, it's a country, but it's also a brand. That is why the US government, they do whatever it is that they have to protect the American brand. Nigeria should do the same thing. Start thinking about Nigeria as a brand. As a Nigerian, start thinking of yourself as a brand and as a business. Hello, Kefa. Where are you from? The US is a brand, the brand of America, the business of America. Same thing, same concept. The business of Nigeria, the brand of Nigeria. Nigeria is changing. Me, I go every year. I've seen the changes from 2020 to 2020. So yeah, 2020 that I've been going to 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025. The trust is coming back. But we can't afford to take our foot off the accelerator, though. We can't afford to do that. So if you are around entrepreneurs that are not being honest, that are not being forthcoming, that they think they can take people off for a ride, you are in a position to stop it. If you can't stop it, don't be around it. Port Harcourt, River State. Just started following you. Thank you, Kifa, brother. Actually, the guy that's building our website, Rise Design, is on the WhatsApp group. He's also from Port Harcourt. You see what I'm saying? Normally, if this was old Nigeria, I would have hired somebody from abroad. I would have hired somebody from abroad. But I'm hiring local Nigerian entrepreneurs, web designers, because that trust is coming back. I'm telling you, I've transacted millions of naira on the American WhatsApp platform through our members. I haven't had one. Seriously, yes, there are a couple, but I'll probably say 95% of the time I'm satisfied. The other 5%, I just don't do business with you again. And me, let me tell you something, and I probably speak for most people. When I am happy with your service and I'm happy with your product, I don't change. I'll just continue working with you, refining our business relationship, as long as you are willing to do the same. As long as I'm happy, I don't change, I don't switch. Continue to add value. Be a man of your word. Be honest. Be honest with your clients. Be honest with your customers. If you can't do something, don't overpromise and say you can do something just to get the business. And then when you get the business, you can't deliver. Become a part of this new wave. I'm telling you, money follows trust. See, people are always thinking about money first. Everything in Nigeria is money, 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 money. Before someone executes a project, they start talking about money this, money that. Money follows results. Money follows trust. Money follows reliability. Money follows quality. It's not the other way around. Trust is the one of the best equity you can have for your business. When people trust you, they open up their wallet. Why do you think a lot of people like coming to the US? Because they trust America. And the United States government will do what it has to do to protect that brand trust. You hear this, American interests, America. They will protect that trust because that is that is what drives tourism. That's what drives tourism. How many people do you know they are touring in Somalia right now or in Afghanistan? Because they don't trust that place. How many are kicking down the door to come to the US? It's because they trust the American brand. They trust the American dream. There's another thing too. The Nigerian dream is real. Oh. For those of you who don't know, the Nigerian dream is real, exists, and is driven by trust. You look at the Nigerian banking system. Back then, you don't dare, you didn't trust the banks back then. My father lost money now in mercantile. Today you will go, they'll say this bank don't fold. Tomorrow, this bank has gone under. In the yeah, in the 90s. My dad lost a lot of money with the Nigerian banking system back then because banks were folding left and right. Today, 2025, Nigeria has some of the best banking systems and banking infrastructure on the face of this planet. Nigeria does. Listen, I have accounts in Nigeria. I sleep well at night. I sleep well at night knowing that my money is protected in Nigeria. Could I have could I have said this in the 90s? You cannot thrive when you are worrying. You can only thrive when your mind is at ease. And that is why I like doing business primarily and exclusively with our members because my mind is at ease. Why? Because I trust them. I mean, I've been around. There's nothing new. I'm 46 years old. I've been around. I've been in international trade since 2003, 22 years. So before I do any kind of thing with anybody, I've already done my homework. You see, me, I'm just waiting for you to validate. If you try to play games, these days you can't really play games with people now. They will find out. So just be honest. Even at the even at the risk of possibly losing that customer, you have to be honest. For instance, I had someone who inquired about shipping with us 100 kg. I've told him, listen, there's a backlog in shipping right now in Nigeria, US, Nigeria, LS shipments. There's a backlog right now. So you can expect a delay of, let's say, 6 weeks because I'm going through it right now. There's a backlog. Oh, which I didn't know that. Thank you so much. It's foodstuffs that I'm shipping, and unfortunately, I can't wait 6 weeks. I have to get it within 7 days to my customers. And I told them, well, if you want to do that, you can't go cargo. You have to go DHL Express, and that's what they did. Even though this customer will end up paying double, but I couldn't be dishonest. I couldn't promise something that I couldn't deliver. Could you imagine what that would do to my brand? So just be honest. The delay is 6 weeks. If they get it before then, perfect. If they don't, you just have to be honest that expect a delay of 6 weeks in air shipment right now. And why is that? It's because of the backlogs with the tariffs. A lot of logistics companies right now are scrambling, trying to work out the tariffs into their logistics plan. They're trying to do all that. All of that causes backlogs and delays. But for Nigerians, be proud. You have to be proud to be a Nigerian today because the narrative is changing. Go to Akwa Ibom State and see what is happening there. Lagos, see what is happening in Lagos. You are surrounded by enterprise. If people didn't trust Nigeria, do you think that that would be happening? If people didn't trust Nigeria, do you think there would be people investing? If people didn't trust Nigeria, do you think that our brand would be successful? It's because whatever is happening, we are finding our own way of contributing to the success of what's going on right now. Because we have learned from the past. Imagine how much Nigeria lost from 1990 to 2010, 20 years. Imagine how much money Nigeria lost because people were running away. They didn't want to do business. They didn't want to be associated with Nigeria. Nigerians, natural born Nigerians, didn't even want to be associated with Nigeria. So if you are be part of the solution, and that is one of the things that I enjoy about what we are doing with our platform. If nothing else, we are opening up a space where people can come and have a healthy dialogue around business, have a healthy dialogue about investment, network with each other, connect with each other, transact with each other, grow with each other, and also learn the truth. There's a new wave. This wave is enjoyable. When you travel to Nigeria right now, you see there are more foreigners in Nigerian flights locally than Nigerians right now. I flew from Lagos to Akwa Ibom State, from Muritala Mohammed to Victor Atta in Uyo. There are more foreigners on that flight than locals. And they're starting to even speak, they are speaking broken English. It's because of trust. And yes, I'm not a political guy. You will never ever find the perfect politician. You will never ever find the perfect leader. But whatever is happening right now is not happening just by happenstance. People are making it happen. So yes, they're not perfect. They're not. The president is not perfect. The governors are not perfect. But I do believe that they want the best for the country. I don't think that anybody that's sitting in a position of authority doesn't want the best for their constituents. I can honestly say that these guys are not perfect, but yes, they want the best for their constituents. If I did not trust Nigeria, I wouldn't be doing business. And let me tell you, before I started doing business in Nigeria 5 years ago, I was US China from 2003 to 2020. My business was primarily done between the United States and China until 2020 when I discovered or rediscovered Nigeria. I changed my business from US China to US Nigeria. Prioritize customer service. Just provide. Try it. If you haven't tried it before, just try providing a good experience for your clients and for your customers and see what happens. Because it spreads. When someone has a good experience with you, they will refer you. They will refer your business. When someone has a bad experience with you, they will stay away from you. And people will know about that bad experience. Rebuilding trust, guys. Tie your business operations to three things: trust, reliability, quality. If your business is powered by those three principles of trust, reliability, and quality, you are helping to shape the new narrative of Nigeria. See the opportunities right now that's in the country. Opportunities right now. Infrastructural opportunities, engineering opportunities, business opportunities. It's because of trust. Investors are starting to trust Nigeria again. And I really have to commend those who are using their celebrity, the musicians out there who are using their celebrity to promote Nigeria. When I'm listening to these guys, again, I don't follow their music. I don't, even though I have an entertainment background, I don't really listen to their music. But every time that I get an opportunity to hear them in interviews, on podcasts, they are always promoting Nigeria. Somebody in rural America. Rural, you're talking about population of 5, and they know Davido, and they know Whiskey, and they know Bonabo. What does that tell you? And it's positive. Try this 10, 20 years ago. As soon as you mention Nigeria, fraud. Crime wave. Things are changing. I'm encouraging, become a part of the new Nigeria. Become a part of that new wave of honest business, honest transaction, delivering on your promises to your customers and your clients, providing the best quality product and experience you possibly can in our own little way. Because these little things add up. You may not realize it, but it adds up. I'm really enjoying. I don't want to. I won't stay any longer than I have to. But I'm telling you, I'm really enjoying being a Nigerian today. I've always enjoyed being a Nigerian. I've always, because I grew up around entrepreneurs, and for the 42 years that my dad was abroad, he made a point. Every what is the year? A year is 12 months. Every 24 months, no 2 years will go by without my dad coming to Nigeria. And he will stay in the village. I mean, I started going to the village when I was 3. I remember my mom used to put me on the gas tank of this machine. My dad was a proud, even though he stayed, he did not return to Nigeria after his education like his peers. Even though he and a few people stayed, he still made it a point. For you, Nigerians abroad, go home, visit home. You've probably been burned before. You probably try to trust somebody to do something for you and they've been dishonest. But I'm encouraging you, just go visit home. I'm speaking to Nigerians abroad now. There's nothing wrong with Nigeria. Visit home, even if it's for a week. Go and reacclimate. Go and reconnect with the homeland. Don't listen to all that stuff on the media about Nigeria, this, Nigeria, that. Be disciplined, have a plan, but I'm telling you, just visit home. Go to Nigeria. Make it a point this year, 2025. Just go home. It doesn't have to be. People always say, "Oh, I gotta wait until December." You don't have to wait until December. You can go home in the summer. You can go home in any time of the year. Just go home and see for yourself what is happening. Because no amount of what you see in the media, no amount of what you read is going to substitute first-hand experience of you visiting Nigeria by yourself or with your family. Go home and make up your own mind based on your own experience. Because a lot of us are, I mean, some of you people are here, you've been here for 10, 20 years, some of you 30 years. You haven't returned to Nigeria because you are still scarred from the past. Nigeria is changed. Nigeria is changing. Go and find something to do. Because the America abroad is not for old people. If you are watching me and you are in your 40s, between 40 and you are in your prime still, go home and establish something. Even if that business covers your airfare, it's still better than you not having something. Go and reconnect with Nigeria if you're abroad. Listen, I'm gonna end, but I've said my piece and I've shared my observations and I've shared a little bit of history. Because I don't think that the youths of today really understand the history of Nigeria and how far we've come to get to where we are today. I've given you a breakdown of the Nigeria that I experienced in the 80s and the shift from positivity in the 80s to negativity in the 90s and up. And now it's positive again. Because now when Nigeria is brought up, first thing that comes to mind is opportunity. First thing that comes to mind is opportunity. Because Africa is a new frontier, and guess who's the leader of Africa? You can talk about South Africa all you want. You can talk about Ghana all you want. Nigeria is the leader of Africa. So if Africa is a new frontier, shouldn't you start in Nigeria? Sorry, Africa is not the new frontier. Africa is the last frontier. Shouldn't you start with Nigeria? Go home and write your own story, because if you don't, someone is going to write it for you. I'm going to end. I want to thank you for tuning in and listening and watching this. Hopefully, share it, like it, comment after this video is going to leave on. And for those of you, so people always feel like my platform is just for business people. It really isn't just for business people. It can be for students too. Or you can be somebody that's just looking for a job. You're just looking for an opportunity. You can be a sourcing agent for someone like me or for others. Go on the American platform and just join and become a member. It's free. I'm not charging anybody for it. And I also have my webinars and my consulting and my mentorship programs. This is more for people who are serious and ready to take their business to the next level. Bereket.com/webinar, Bereket.com/consulting, and Bereket.com/mentorship. That's tailored more for entrepreneurs. Paid. I don't do anything for free. That's all that's paid. That's another thing. All these people doing free seminars and free webinars and free this and that. I don't understand it. If you truly have something of value that you think will shape someone's future, why wouldn't you charge for it? Free this, free that. There's nothing free. They're collecting maybe your email address, or they're collecting. Eventually, they'll try and sell you something. We don't do anything. Yes, on my platform, the WhatsApp group, that's free. People can go on there and network. But when it comes to me providing valuable, actionable, proven strategies to help entrepreneurs with their cross-border business, that will never ever be free. I charge for it. So if you're interested in building a cross-border business, whether you are a new entrepreneur or you are established, sign up for the webinar. And if you want more of a long-term mentorship, we also provide that service as well, and also one-on-one consultations. You can check it out on bereket.com/consulting. Listen, it's Friday. I can't wait to close the day out so I can start my weekend. And I really want to wish you guys all a wonderful, wonderful weekend ahead. Oh, Mother's Day is coming up in the US. Mother's Day is Sunday. So I want to take this time to wish all of the mothers a happy Mother's Day. All right. Talk to you guys later. Thank you for your time and for your audience. I really do appreciate you. And check out bereket.com. Oh, wait till you guys see our new e-commerce platform. Let me talk about that a little bit before I sign off. You see, we want to give US buyers a one-stop platform where they can come and learn about US-Nigeria trade, and also they can buy Nigerian goods from food staples to durable items. That is what we are doing with our new. We're gonna have clothing. We're gonna have beauty, skincare. We're gonna have obviously groceries. We are also going to have kitchen tools. This is just the beginning. We are going to keep on expanding that platform because we want customers from all over the world to have that primary platform that just focuses on selling high quality Nigerian imported goods. And that's what we are currently working on right now. We should go live within about a week or so, but it's still in development. That's going to be on the bereket.com/shop. I got to check out, guys. Thank you so much for your time today. Have a wonderful weekend. If I don't do another live before next week, but have a wonderful weekend, and talk to you guys later. Richard Bereket signing out.